And it's now, we have 5 of us here, and it's now 8:30, which means we can actually start as soon as I write my name. But first thing we'll do, we'll start out and we'll do the roll call when Rhonda is ready.
Okay, we have Mr. Hall,
Here.
Mr. Sheila, Mr. Bakley,
Here.
Mr. Dixon,
Here.
Mr. Artizone,
Here.
Mr. Carter, Mr. Holsinger,
Here.
Mr. Postles, Ms. Smith. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
Gosh.
How about that? Well, I don't need that. You can pass that with us. Moving right ahead, I guess I'm looking for, got the minutes in the mail. I understand from talking to Dave that we've got kind of a rarity this week, this meeting. That we've actually got more actual planning type work than administrative type stuff, which is kind of, wow. I'm impressed, I'm improved, I hope this continues then, because that's what we're trying to set up and do, is to do more actual planning than just trying to keep the wheels on the place, on the bus. So, do I have a motion, after you've gotten the minutes and that, do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the August 24th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Moving right ahead, public comment? None.
Did you sign this, Walt, or no?
Okay. All right. None, okay. Moving right ahead then, first thing we've got the development applications. And the first one is, holy smokes, another Dollar General.
Haven't had one for what, 3 months?
And then this month, we have 2, but one for your level review, and then obviously the consent, so it's like, wow, 2 in 1 month.
Okay.
So, without further ado, before you I have this proposal for the Dollar General in Duncansville, which is a subdivision and a land development. This proposal is for the subdivision of a single parcel into 2 parcels for the development of a Dollar General. The project parcels are both vacant maintained lots. Just so you're aware, I did not put it in here, but the parcel, you'll see in a moment, will be cut off here to create 2 separate parcels. The 1.6379 acres will be conveyed to proposed lot 1, which would be at the top here. The proposed lot 1 for the development for the Dollar General, leaving 0.8807 acres of residential land owned by Stephen Roberts. All lots will continue to have frontage along a public roadway. Oh, I should have kept reading. Sorry. So you can see here. We do anticipate an increase in vehicle trips as a result of this development. We recommend the developer consults with Blair Township and PennDOT to ensure that no traffic disruptions will occur as a result of this proposal. Access to the site will be through a 24-foot wide bi-directional access drive that opens onto 2 36-foot wide bi-directional drive aisles. Trucking plans provided by the developer show, actually I'll bounce over to that quickly for your convenience as we're talking about it. So, I apologize, I lost my place. Trucking plans provided by the developer show these wide drive aisles for trucks and to turn and make deliveries. However, if feasible, we recommend a reduction in the drive aisle space to 24 feet to eliminate excess impervious surface as a result of this development. Proposed parking for the site, which we'll go back. Proposed parking for the site consists of 33 standard vehicle parking spaces, as well as 2 ADA accessible spaces. Parking minimums for Blair Township recommends 54 parking spaces for the size and type of this development. However, we feel as though the proposed parking should suffice. The developer has requested a waiver from Blair Township for the remaining parking spaces due to the inclusion of a public pedestrian walkway along Dunnings Highway, which is appreciated and should promote safer walkability in the corridor. Developer should ensure that all sidewalk access in and around the site meets ADA standards for accessible design. Additionally, to promote active transportation initiatives, we do recommend the inclusion of an inverted U-style bike rack at the site. The lighting plan provided by the developer states the proposed Dollar General will have lighting fixtures mounted to the building and pole mounted throughout the parking lot. We recommend that any lighting be shielded and directed in a manner that prevents glares onto neighboring properties and roadways. Landscaping plans for this site include various shrubs along Dunnings Highway, the adjacent property line, and the building itself. We recommend the inclusion of street trees along Dunnings Highway and along the southern border of the property to eliminate headlight glare on, to, and off the property. To cut down on excess impervious surface, we also recommend, if feasible, an alternative landscaping treatment to the hatch painted piece, which would be right here. Where'd I go? I apologize. To cut down on impervious surface, we also recommend, if feasible, an alternative landscaping treatment to the hatch painted piece of the parking area at the southwest corner of the proposed building. A bit more? Not much more, I promise. Environmentally, our review of natural features at this location did not reveal any immediate environmental concerns. The site is not located within the 100-year floodplain, nor does it contain any wetlands nor natural heritage inventory areas. This site is located completely within the Federal Aviation Regulation Part 77 Airport Hazard Area of Blue Knob Valley Airport. Both PennDOT, Bureau of Aviation, and the Federal Aviation Administration have laws and regulations that developers must abide by when building in these airport hazard areas. The construction of these structures within the airport hazard area will require consultation with the PennDOT BOA, first and possibly the FAA. If a determination is made that the proposed structures are a risk to air traffic based upon the height of the structures or an airport incompatible land use, the developer must follow any restrictions or mitigation measures required by PennDOT BOA and or FAA. Based upon the location and elevation of the site, we are not expecting that these structures will be a hazard to air traffic. However, the developer is required to complete a form AB 57 and submit it to the PennDOT BOA. This property would be subject to Blair Township, oh my gosh. This property would also be subject to the Blair Township Airport Hazard Ordinance. This site is located within the Frankstown branch of the Juniata River watershed. Proposed stormwater improvements to the site include the addition of an underground infiltration basin to manage runoff as a result of the development. And as a summary, we would find the proposal to be generally consistent with countywide planning efforts.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that was a lot. Long letter. Does anyone have questions, comments, concerns?
I guess I was just surprised that there's problems with the FAA on the site.
So it is within the map. Technically, I think a good chunk of Blair Township, like Newry especially, is included within that. So
Just seems like it's pretty far from the airport.
It's right off the end. Actually, it's not. It's right off the end of the Blue
Right
Knob
off the end of the
runway.
Wow.
Blue Knob.
Whoa. Oh, Blue Knob, not.
Yeah, it's Blue
Okay.
Knob,
I
yes.
was thinking Martinsburg.
No, not Martinsburg.
There's two of them, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense. I forgot about the Blue Knob Airport.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Is that a private airport though? That's just a.
It still has the surfaces regulated,
Does it
so,
have it's not a commercial, right?
no.
Commercial, just private, okay. So, all right. I guess my only comment was, I counted one time, I sat down, I was kind of curious. I think I counted 13 Dollar Generals between Bald Eagle and 58th Street.
Wow.
The thing about Dollar General is they're doing something that not a lot of other corporations are doing, is that they're targeting areas that there is nothing else in
Yeah,
order to
that's-
fill that need. And so I think that's why we see a lot of them being developed in
Yeah.
in these areas where you're like, why is there a random Dollar General here? And it's because they seek those areas out specifically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's one in Flint of all places.
That's design too is one they use all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, they're standard. They have like 3 different ones that they choose from.
I will say also, when I looked at, they don't call it, I guess, and I was not aware of this, food deserts anymore. It's low income, low access. 5% of the citizens within the area of the Dollar General do not have access to a supermarket or grocery store within, I think it was like 0.5 miles or more. And so in my mind, this also does do a service where it is walkable to get some basic groceries. Obviously, people would have to make choices of their own of what groceries they do buy. But I do think it's a nice addition to the area to
Yeah,
have
I-
access to food.
I just continually surprised at the volume of stores they're putting in. That's what amazes me.
This will make 3 in the Duncansville area, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we've heard the staff recommendations. Are there any questions or concerns or anything about that? And I guess Blue Knob Airport, I forgot about that one. Okay.
This may be Blair Township's first administration under that hazard ordinance. So
Okay.
I think so.
we may have to reach out to them and give them a little help.
Give them a little help
Yeah,
on
if they
that.
want it.
Okay. All right. Do I have, if there are no questions or additions or comments, I would entertain a motion to approve the staff actions and recommendations for item 4 of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have, okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Okay, next item is the staff level reviews. These are the ones you get by email. And are the ones that don't require a complete review, but at a board meeting. They're generally things like lot splits, consolidations, non-building waivers, things. All they require is that the state law requires that we see them and we say we've seen them. So if now is the time, if any board members have any questions about any of these, now is your time to ask them. And if there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the staff actions for item 5 of the agenda.
Just in case, if people did not notice on the slide, just to make you aware, this was part of the previous subdivision, just in case I wasn't sure if everyone read everything. Just wanted to make sure you were aware.
All right. Any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept the staff recommend actions concerning the staff reviews of item 5 of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Moving on.
So the Blair County Planning Commission was in receipt of the proposed amendment to the Chapter 27 of Ordinance Number 913 for the Borough of Hollidaysburg. The proposed ordinance amendment would effectively rezone the 2 tax parcels listed here from traditional neighborhood development district to conservation recreation. The proposal for rezoning is for the future development of a new Great Commission school, which would be suitable permitted use for a conservation recreation zoning classification. At this point in time, we are, oh, I apologize. Nope. Oh, I thought you had a finger up, I'm sorry. We, at this time, have not received the plans for the Great Commission school development, for your knowledge. Based upon available Pennsylvania natural diversity inventory information, the environmental review of the parcels revealed that portions of the parcels are within the 100-year plus elevation and the 500-year floodplains. The site also includes steep slopes and prime agricultural soil. However, there are no immediate environmental concerns with this proposal, and the requested zoning may help reduce flooding within the neighboring properties. Any future development should align with both the Hollidaysburg Borough subdivision and land development ordinance, as well as the Blair County Planning Commission's adopted comprehensive plan. And in summary, we have found that this proposed zoning ordinance to amendment to Chapter 27 of Ordinance Number 913 for the Borough of Hollidaysburg to be consistent with countywide planning efforts.
So for clarification, this is the Stoll Farm property. This rezoning is to turn it, or to change it from TND to Conservation Recreation, which if you remember when it was previously proposed to be changed to, I believe, an R2, we had kind of, or the board had kind of made the comments that were included in the letter that they also felt that TND was not the proper designation, and that in our countywide comprehensive plan, it shows that area as being conservation recreation. So this is the most compatible, CR would be the most compatible zoning designation given what our comprehensive plan says.
So there's,
The future idea for this property is to build a school on the property, which is a permitted use under conservation recreation. And then the rest of the property, I believe, would be kept in like just as it is, or kept in agricultural use or conservation use. So, I mean,
we haven't seen the plans for.
Nope.
Nope.
no,
There's no plan there.
They
Okay.
won't draw plans up until the zoning's changed.
correct.
All right, I guess the only question I'm particularly concerned when I start looking at that anything that, we don't have any idea how big a building they're talking about for the school, do we?
No, and they would also still, whatever development that would be proposed on that site would still have to meet whatever stormwater regulations that,
Yeah.
if that's the concern, because that's been the concern previously with development there is stormwater. So I know that the borough has taken a good chunk of that for their stormwater mitigation, and I know there's still a good bit more that could be done there.
Yeah, because
but-
I'm concerned that anything that impacts flooding in that Gagesport area is.
Sure, but this
is a
isn't
real-
that. This is
real
just
problem.
voting to change the zoning to
Well, I mean,
conservation
that-
recreation.
it all kind of cascades and follows at some point, you change
Sure.
one thing, and well, okay, we
Sure.
did that.
I do think that the zoning ordinance is just to change it from TND to conservation recreation, and that action itself is what is consistent.
positive.
That is what's consistent with our comprehensive
Okay.
plan, because that, in our comprehensive plan, it shows that area as being conservation land.
Yeah, because when they start putting any buildings or any development, they have to still worry about floodplain. I mean, they've already got such a significant problem there in Gagesport.
We're going to be talking about that in a little bit.
And I don't really, okay, but I really, I just really, we've got to be aware that things like this, while they're consistent and don't affect, we got to look a little bit what they do downstream, down the road. And that's the only thing, I think this is in the right direction,
This would definitely be a more restrictive
more restrictive. because
zoning designation.
I really would hate to see somebody come in there like when they were talking about building residential in there and just.
I will say that I am under the impression that the Great Commission School has purchased the property, but I am not completely sure.
Okay.
And I will say that if you are familiar, I'm sure you all are pretty familiar with Great Commission, they need it. If you see those kids playing in that little, I don't even know what you call it, parking pad playground, this would be an expansion of the Great Commission schools.
Okay.
At this time, I do not know any more information aside from the request for zoning.
Okay, I guess I don't have any questions. I'm just raising a flag that we gotta be
yeah.
careful. Things that we don't think have anything
Well, I mean,
down the
even-
road sometimes do.
Well, I will say they're going to have to develop and do land development down the road. And there's going to be a plan that will probably come across our desks that we will
Okay,
be able to
well,
review. We just do not have it at this time. And it sounded like Dave said that he was under the impression they won't give us a plan until the zoning is up to date, but I may be wrong.
And I think, so I have no problem with what we're doing here. It's just I'm raising a flag that when we do see the development
Oh, yeah.
plan.
You'll know.
We gotta be careful with
absolutely.
it. We gotta be very careful because I think those people in Gagesport have a legitimate complaint
Yep.
about
Absolutely.
what's going on down there. They've already been told that their sewers are already overloaded and their storm sewers are inadequate, and then to add more to it without addressing those issues.
I will say, later
seems
in
like
the agenda,
a
we do have the CDBG funds from the county for Gagesport.
Okay.
So we can,
Okay.
if you want, I mean,
I'm just,
Is this the third time this has been rezoned?
I,
So we've dealt with this how many times this year?
So it was proposed to be rezoned from a TND to an R2. The
We-
board said
No.
that was not consistent with the comprehensive plan, and the borough decided not to move forward with that as well.
Well,
So
did-
now it's being proposed to be changed from a TND to a CR.
Did
So this
they-
is sorry.
did they block off, we did something here a while back. Did they take a block of that site and turn it into a?
Storm-
7
Stormwater.
acres towards the top there.
Yeah, they
Yeah, that's-
subdivided I think 7 acres
Back
Right up in there somewhere.
Sorry.
They took that in for.
for stormwater for the
stormwater
borough.
management, yeah, which was, I say that's a move in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So I think that, I'm just saying I can sympathize with those people that, when they've been told by their own borough that their sewers are inadequate, their stormwater's inadequate, and they're gonna propose more development on the site before they do anything to address those issues.
Absolutely.
That raises a flag with me. Because you're just making the problem worse for those business, for an already existing problem that they know they have. So, all right. Do I have a motion to approve the staff actions for the approval of the Hollidaysburg rezoning of the
I have
site?
some issues with this, that this traditional neighborhood development was meant to be an extension of the housing and the, residential areas of Hollidaysburg. And originally, it was meant to be like a higher density, fabric, sort of like a repeat of, the streets and the alleys and the, density of Hollidaysburg, which in my mind would bring in a lot more money in taxes, would provide more housing for people in the area, would be good for the economy. I don't know what this Great American Commission School is, but is that are they going to pay taxes to the borough? Is that a tax-free, operation? I know that's outside of our realm, but is this really and no matter what they put there, whether it be a development, whether it be, a school or play fields or whatever, they would have to deal with, the stormwater runoff. And now all that's just basic engineering. It can be done, they can restrict the amount of, outflow. Basically, we all know that, with engineering sites that you can't have any more outflow than what comes onto the site originally. So I don't understand what the borough's reason for doing this is. Are they just appeasing, somebody wants to build something, so they're going to change the ordinance? Is that the issue, or, is there a bigger picture here?
So when I had spoken to Ethan actually last night at the open house for the comprehensive plan, I asked him about the TND and asked him about the rezoning. And he had said that it was changed to a TND when the Nature Works, the land that was originally Nature Works, was still part of that TND, and that was originally part of the plan was to develop all of that. And then once Nature Works became what it is now, they lost so much of the land that it.
And that became feasible anymore. Became unfeasible because they lost. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's about half of it.
Okay.
All right, so do I have a motion to accept the staff actions concerning and recommendations concerning item 6 of the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Anybody?
I'll second it.
Okay, have a second. I guess all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
All right.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Do I need to do a roll call on that one? Just to-
No.
Okay.
Not unless somebody wants it.
Anybody ask for a roll call? Okay, motion carried. Moving on to the clearinghouse. Again, these are things that got sent to us by email. Requests for letters of support, requests for permit, support for permit applications, things that just don't require that they come here, and we have a big list. Okay, are there any questions concerning any of the items on item 7 of the agenda? Okay, if there are no questions, I want to entertain a motion to approve the staff actions and recommendations for item 7 of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
If there are no questions, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Moving ahead. Letters, this is something again, where's letters of support?
Yes, so two of these you have received via email, and the third is from the county to use CDBG funding. So the first two are kind of review of things you have received in your email, but essentially through PennVest funding application, it's for the Bellwood Borough Authority that operates and owns a sewage collection and conveyance system in the Bellwood Borough and portions of Antis Township. The system was originally constructed in the 1930s and has undergone various extensions, modifications, and rehabilitations since that point. The authority's system accepts wastewater flows from remote portions of the sewer system owned and operated by Northern Blair County Regional Sewer Authority before discharging the main NBCRSA sewer interceptor along East Pleasant Valley Boulevard. Due to deterioration of various portions of the system from aging, the authority has undergone inspections of the system at large and identified portions of which require rehabilitation and repair. The project proposes the replacement of several sanitary sewer manholes within the north side portion of the authority system, as well as the replacement of approximately 3,920 lineal feet of gravity sewer piping in the system. Does anyone have any questions on that? Again, this was a consent agenda item that was emailed to you, but do you have any questions? I do have the project in front of me.
Yeah, I know Bellwood has had trouble with their sanitary. Does this address their storm sewer systems? Is that part? They were combined, I think, was their problem. And this will probably eliminate some of that.
Yeah, it does say here that they take, I don't know, it doesn't say specifically that it is combined. I may not.
Okay, I know they've been having significant sewer issues.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a letter of support saying we support their application to PennVest for funding. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the staff actions and recommendations for item 8 of the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
If there are no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Moving on.
So number 9 was also a consent agenda item that I had sent out, which was the railroad crossing elimination application for the Hollidaysburg pedestrian overpass. On behalf of the Blair County Planning Commission, we wish to express our support of the borough's application to the Railroad Crossing Elimination Grant Program. The Hollidaysburg pedestrian overpass is a tremendous opportunity to upgrade safety, mobility in the community, while strengthening connections between local businesses, parks, trails, and residential neighborhoods. The importance of this project is heightened by the inclusion on the alignment with the National 9/11 Memorial Trail. Use of this area is projected to increase significantly with the trail build-out. Both Norfolk Southern and Everett railroads utilize the rail line, which bisects Hollidaysburg adjacent to US Route 22. There is a missing link between north and south side of Hollidaysburg. Residents and visitors who wish to travel go through a confusing, dangerous 5-point intersection, which includes the rail line, US 222 and local streets, 2 of them. Once constructed, the project will enable anyone access to the 9/11 National Memorial Trail, Canal Basin Park, and downtown businesses while avoiding the railroad and railway crossing via an ADA accessible route that connects downtown Hollidaysburg and the Gaysport residential neighborhood. We did, in this consent letter, expressed our support for this application. Does anyone have any questions regarding this letter of support?
Okay. Do I have any questions or comments or concerns? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve staff actions and letter for item 9 of the agenda.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
If there are no questions, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. Blair County, okay, item 10.
So
This is Gaysport problem.
This is Gaysport. So, the County of Blair submitted Hollidaysburg Borough's proposal to use multi-year community development block grant funds to complete flood drainage improvements in the borough, specifically Gaysport. During the fiscal year 2020 CDBG public hearings, local residents notified the county of an increasing issue of flooding in and around the area identified as the mini ditch located between Bedford Street and River Street in the Gaysport area of the Hollidaysburg Borough. The mini ditch functions to divert stormwater runoff from the stream coming from adjacent Blair Township that runs along a large undeveloped farm parcel and releases the water into the little Juniata River that runs along River Street. Residents of the area reported that the mini ditch overtops its banks prior to reaching the Bedford Street Bridge along its route. Once it overtops, it has caused flooding to households in and around the mini ditch at Beaver Street, Bedford Street, and River Street, impacting 11 structures. The county conducted a household income survey in response to public comments. It received and identified that 11 out of the 11 structures, identified that the 11 structures had a concentration of 54% or percent low to moderate income persons. One moment, I have the rest of the project description on the next page. If you'll bear with me. The proposed project will be located along Bedford Street in the Gaysport section on a 7.539 acre parcel subdivided from a tract of land known as the Stoll Farm in the borough of Hollidaysburg, Blair County. Located within the floodplain of the Beaver Dam branch of the Juniata River with a watershed of over 70 square miles. Located within this watershed is a tributary locally known as the Mini Ditch, which flows through the Gaysport neighborhood, passing under several bridges on its way to the Beaver Dam branch. The extent of the federal flood risk management standards floodplain was determined using FEMA National Flood Hazard Layering Mapping. A stormwater retention basin will be constructed to divert stormwater overflow, release it back into the stream at a controlled rate. Most of the costs will be for the acquisition and excavation associated with the construction of the basin. The basin would be located in a vacant field upstream of Gaysport and would be designed to attenuate intense storm events that occur over a short period. This project also includes property acquisition and right-of-way easements.
Okay. Just, is this on that site that
That's the one they subdivided.
they subdivided off for flood management, flood control management? Okay. So it's improved. Anything that will give Gaysport some relief is probably a move in the right direction. I mean, are there any questions concerning this project or concerning the letter of support?
Is there any guarantee they're going to get this funding?
It's their entitlement funding, so long as it qualifies under CDBG, they can use it as they see fit.
And their conclusion is one heck of a large retention pond.
Yeah.
You could make it a public pool undoubtedly, as big as it's gonna have to be.
Maybe. 7 acres, yeah.
That is, that's
Breeding
huge.
ground for mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you go back to the map,
Yeah, absolutely. I was considering doing that.
just so we're clear, we're looking at this area in here for this.
Okay, and that's where they subdivided off, what,
That's where
10
the-
acres or
yeah.
something like that?
Those are
7.
tax parcels, they're only updated once a year. The subdivision was done earlier this year, so it doesn't show up yet. But that's where that would be, in that rough location.
Yeah, parcel data is the hardest data to keep up to date.
Where, there's obvious, okay, that area down through there is farmland, and where is the stream that they're talking about? Where does it,
The mini ditch
Yeah.
goes right here.
right through there?
Yeah, right along the backside of these houses.
Okay. All right.
And so this basin collects the water from the mini ditch and holds it?
I mean,
Aren't those homes along the mini ditch, aren't those the ones that get flooded?
I think it collects it and then releases it into a stream, if I read correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3, 4.
So-
Yeah, there's a be 11 homes there.
Yeah,
And the reason that the homes get flooded is because there's no relief for the water coming down?
It just
Yeah, it-
overwhelms
it just-
the mini ditch.
There's so much flooding with that river. Yeah, it's just too much. It goes into houses. And there was community comment last night to me about residents literally taking water out of their house and dumping it into the street.
Yeah, I've heard those stories. And there's nothing, what about upstream? Are we dealing with upstream issues? Like, you know, who's causing, how's this being caused, or what, are there any
Blair
other?
Township is looking at some things,
Blair
but we haven't
Township.
heard anything formal from them yet.
And it's,
The borough line is basically the left of the bold line.
And do we have anything to compel them to stop this, you know, I mean, just from.
we
can't
have
stop them.
our recommendations.
You know, we just recommend and,
We can recommend and help.
We are advisory.
Yes, we are advisory,
okay.
for better or for worse.
better word, yeah.
Can we propose an ordinance, like a county ordinance? Do we have a county ordinance already, which,
Not yet.
I mean, personally, I recognize this might be a little weird. I think that would be great. I honestly think it would also be great to have a county ordinance for solar at
Or
some
is it
point,
too-
but we're not there yet.
is it too late to do that, or is this problem can get worse over time with more development upstream, right? Can it?
More development upstream would be subject to the newer stormwater regulations.
All right, well, that answers my
Yeah,
question.
but the part of the problem is some of this was, we're dealing with sins of the past before people realized the
Okay.
impact of
Basically,
development on water. It's a similar situation what we have around the mall, Toys R Us,
Yep.
that area. And we filled in a swamp and then wonder why it floods.
Yes.
Thank you. My brain wanted to like communicate, to my understanding, which is limited compared to Dave or Mackenzie, there was further development that has impacted this and made it worse in different parts of the county.
That seems to be a common thread,
Upstream,
that what
yeah.
happens is, you have a vacant lot someplace, and all of a sudden, somebody builds something on it. And eventually, you impact, and a lot of times it gets done without a whole lot of consideration of what the sewers and water services are in that area. It just gets added into it. We'll just have another house in there. That's not gonna cause any problems. And eventually, you end up, okay, maybe one house isn't, but by the time you add 20, you created a problem. And so that's just the fact that seems to be the way development occurs. It doesn't always, a lot of it may be fill-in Blair Township that's causing some of these problems for them.
Yes.
And
So we're fixing a problem that's already
we're
happened.
we're addressing a
And
problem.
according to our regulations that are in place now, it shouldn't get any worse,
Right.
okay?
Yeah, this is the borough in this case being somewhat proactive, I guess. I mean, they're reacting to the problem, but they're being proactive in that they are putting in a pond without any associated development with it. It's similar to what happened on the top of Frankstown Road. Frankstown Township went and put that pond in,
Yeah.
sort of devoid of any related development because of all the development that happened around it. and trying to fix, again, sins of the past.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that has worked too. People go past it, it's empty all the time. Well, yeah, that's what a detention pond is. It's not a retention pond, it's a detention pond. And it collects the water when it needs it and gets it going.
I also didn't think to include this map, but there is in this packet a nice map that explains the different flood areas, which are reflected up there as well. And it's kind of zoomed in where the mini ditch is. So if I didn't think to, I don't know why, it escaped me. If I would have had foresight, I would have put it in. I apologize. But if you want to look at this, or if you want to pass it around, I'm more than willing to, if you have questions.
I think that anything that they do out there kind of,
If you want to pass that
it's
down.
going to help
Stick with my
them
sticky
move
notes.
in the right direction. And I think that's, we should support that. So I think that, what I want to question, you know, they said CDBG money, but they've also, I see something there listed as federal and state money. What's the source of that?
CDBG funds?
Is it all CBDGBG?
No.
No, there's a match. There's a certain
There's a
level
match.
that the borough is putting in as well.
I know there's about a borough match, I saw that. But there's also two items that are listed as federal and state, and is that guaranteed money?
That might not be.
Might not be, okay. So, the best I guess we can do is hope for that all comes.
Maybe
comes
identified in
together.
here. I don't remember.
It might be a detail I missed, I apologize.
That's all, I'd be the only thing I would be saying, you know, when I see lists of federal and state money, you know, that can be ephemeral at times. It can go in the wind, blow in the wind. Do I have a motion to approve the staff actions and recommendation concerning item 10 of the agenda, which is the approval of addressing it with the CDBG funds, and then the hope that all the federal and state money, that's
Trying to see what that
additional
federal
money,
and state money
doesn't
is.
disappear on them, and they can get something.
It does have a financial breakdown, I think, at
Yeah,
one
it's,
point.
it's how they're spending it. It doesn't tell me where it's
Yeah,
coming
it's on
from.
there, it's
No, it
on
doesn't
there.
say where it's
It's
coming
on
from.
there,
That's a
but
great
it just, what all I was asking was, it says federal and it gives a number and it gives state and gives a number.
Sure.
And how solid is that money? You know, can it be something that gonna get pulled out on somebody's budget work, or what's gonna happen? That's the only thing I say. I think it's the right direction. I think everything's in the right direction. I just realize that sometimes state and federal money disappears on you.
And that is the basic question, is the spending of this CDBG money for this project consistent with our planning efforts? That's basically what it comes down to.
Basically, yes, it is.
That would be my answer.
Does the new development have any responsibility for contributing to the cost of this?
I
Are they-
am not
Are they going
aware.
to expand the retention area based on the new development?
They may create their own, most
They may
likely.
have to
Yeah.
create their own.
Well, it depends also on where they are on that site too.
So,
Sure.
as Dave said earlier, and I think Mackenzie, there was a part subdivided off. In that map in there, it's kind of that mini ditch that's cut off. So it is owned, that parcel, to my understanding, is owned by someone else, and it would not be within this parcel that is included with the Great Commission schools. So I don't know if ownership would cause, no?
This part, well, what you're saying is this parcel here, which we already said is owned by the borough now. This parcel right here has been subdivided off to create that stormwater retention for the borough. So the parcel that's being rezoned or proposed to be rezoned, or was this chunk here.
Like a corner, the corner's cut off
Sure.
out of that up there.
Yeah, the
Yes.
northeast corner.
That
And then
northeast
wherever they
corner's cut
develop,
off.
we have no plans. We've not seen any plans.
Not
Everything's
seen.
just kind of what people have been talking about. So again, if we receive those plans, those would be things that would be subject to scrutiny and review at the same level as everything else.
So, okay. So I'm still looking. Do I have a motion to approve the staff actions and recommendations for the CDBG grant for item 10 of the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. There are no questions concerning all those in favor? Aye. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention. I'm thinking that anything you do in that area that's addressing stormwater runoff into the Gaysport is a move in the right direction.
I have a question. Hollidaysburg's solving the problem that Blair Township's causing, right? Basically.
Essentially.
Yes.
Yes.
I hope they go after Blair Township for some monies. Because that's where the water's all coming from Blair Township.
They are very aware of that issue.
Sugar is too mild.
Let's flip 11 and 12 since we're talking about Hollidaysburg.
Yeah. All right, moving ahead, I guess,
Apologize, wait 1 second, let me get you there.
you got something else? I guess, no, it's,
Oops, I don't know why I didn't. It's all together Altoona.
We
That's
just-
it for me. I pass it over to David.
this is Dave,
Mackenzie. Yep.
the Dave Show.
Do 12 first, so.
Oh, you want me to do 12 first?
Yeah, since we're talking about Hollidaysburg already.
We are in the process of helping Hollidaysburg update their comprehensive plan or finish out the update to their comprehensive plan. So far, we have had 2 of the 3 open houses. We're going ward by ward to meet with the community and get additional feedback on the plan and get things that maybe weren't included or overlooked in the plan originally. And we've had really, really excellent turnout at our first 2 open houses. I am incredibly surprised. I think Emily's done a great job with our social media and utilizing that to kind of mobilize the community and get them to show up to these. But we've had great success. And we have one more, I believe, it's not next week, but the week after. And that's our one in Gaysport, so I'm expecting a pretty large turnout for that one. But yeah, so far we are just going back in and kind of massaging the outreach that was done in 2020 because it was kind of done during the pandemic. It doesn't really seem to reflect a lot of the concerns that the community has now. So we're hoping to have this wrapped up by the end of the year and hopefully adopted by, I think they're thinking January or February. But now that Ethan Imhoff is back at the borough, he's the borough manager. He is a certified planner and he is very excited to work on this directly and work hands-on and get this plan something usable for the community. So that's where we're at.
All right, so basically Hollidaysburg upping their comprehensive plan and actually trying to do something with it.
Yes.
Okay, that's a move in the right direction for everybody, I think. So many times these plans seem to get written and put on a shelf and nobody looks at them.
I think we're really trying to take advantage of the fact that Ethan has such a rich background in planning and how Andy, their planning and zoning director, is also, very experienced in code enforcement and zoning. And they're really trying to use that to make planning kind of the focus of what community development is going to look like for Hollidaysburg. So I'm
Okay.
really excited for that.
Good. Yeah, that seems like a move in the right. There's a lot of development, a lot of things going on in Hollidaysburg, and it seems like they ought to have some direction.
They definitely have a lot of momentum.
Yeah. I guess. Okay. Back to Dave.
Yeah, altogether Altoona, just a real brief update since we're involved with that. The comprehensive plan, as you know, was adopted over the summer. They have jumped straight into updating their ordinances. CZB at this point has torn apart their current regulatory schema and has identified weaknesses, places where it can be updated, places where it can be strengthened, streamlined, and all like that. There was a meeting of stakeholders last month on those exact topics. They were given some further places to massage, I guess we could call it that way. And they are currently now going back and looking at those places, getting ready for some meetings at the end of the month for some public outreach. So that's where that stands. I just want to give a quickie update since we're involved with that. It's going so well, they actually canceled the online meeting this week that they have with the core group. So that's that. Brave, we are putting the plan together at this point. Hoping to have that ready for HUD to see by the end of October. And I said end of the month for altogether, it's the end of next month, sorry. Anyway, Brave will be put together at the end of October. We'll get it over to PEMA, who will then give it to FEMA. Once they give their approvals, we will get it out to the municipalities to adopt. And I need one municipality to adopt it by Valentine's Day. And we're okay. Obviously, we want them all to adopt it eventually, but that keeps the plan, the hazard mitigation plan alive if it's adopted by Valentine's Day. So that's the ultimate goal there. Seems to be coming together okay, and kind of excited to see what some of these new projects have in store for us for it. So, Healthy Blair County Coalition, we are in the middle of the Community Health Needs Assessment. The public outreach for that, it has ended, although there's a couple stragglers they're waiting on for some interviews, things like that. I expect that'll be done either this week or next week. Once that data is in, it will give us an idea what the health needs are in the community. The whole point of they call them China's CHNA, is to assist the healthcare providers in aligning their resources to meet the needs of the community. They do it every 3 years. Historically, we've had mental health and obesity as towards the top of the list. I don't expect that's going to change. That's why we have things like the Food for Life Committee and Let's Move. Maybe you've heard of those. Let's move into kindness, which helps with some of the mental health. There's a number of committees they have formed that are really, they are working committees. They get into the community and help directly address the needs that are identified in that health needs assessment. Our role in the health needs assessment is to assist with the data collection and analysis, and then we are actively involved with the Let's Move into kindness and the Food for Life most directly. I also sit on the steering committee for the organization as well. So that's where we are with the Healthy Blair County. Pauline Heim, who's led the thing since the inception, but almost 2 decades now, is stepping back. Her responsibility at this point is primarily just the community health needs assessment. The working committees have been transferred to the new director for our local office of the United Way, and so they've picked it up. The transition's gone fairly smoothly, at least from my perspective, and I'm excited that that was one of our goals in the comp plan, was to keep that organization going and keep it, excuse the pun, keep it healthy. And it seems like that's going to be happening for the foreseeable future at least. So we're glad for that.
I did want to add, I don't know if I think you would know, but they're also involved with America 250 planning as well with the Let's Move committee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
America 250 is the celebration that's being planned for the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 2026. So we're coming right up on that.
So we just started planning what initiatives, and we're working with the commissioners who are, Laura, I think, would be the point of contact, but it's above my contact, so.
Yeah, that's kind of exciting for me. My sister and I were designated as the most photographed children in Philadelphia in 1976. Because my mother dressed us up and took us down, and everybody was stopping us to get pictures of the 2 cute little children. I was like 4 or 5 years old at the time. And I think it was the Philadelphia Bulletin actually had our picture in it. The most photographed children in Philadelphia. My mom still has that in the scrapbook somewhere. Anyway. Stormwater management, that was submitted last month, right after the meeting. The application system gave me a heart attack because you can't put commas or dollar signs in the budget. They don't tell you that ahead of time, and it locks the whole system out, so I had to start the entire application over. So at 3:25 on Friday, deadline being 4 o'clock Friday, I hit the submit button and it received it. So I had a bit of a heart attack. But anyway, it's in. They've acknowledged it's there, and I've actually had contact with DEP. They are processing it. as the Phase 2 comes into place, they're expecting the contracts for Phase 2 to go out right around Christmas time, which will be good because we'll go process that at our January meeting, get an RFP out, and hopefully have the things start to get legs under in March.
Okay.
And then we'll have about 18 months to get that done. And again, the 3 prongs of the Phase 2 plan are to identify best practices, get a model ordinance in place that'll be countywide, because once that's in place, the municipality is supposed to adopt that model ordinance, and get a stormwater model in place for the significant areas of the county. So those are the 3 major prongs for the Phase 2 plan.
Okay, now one question I had, you had, at one point you had told me or had talked, it appears that in Blair County, one of our major hazards, and if not the major hazard, is flooding.
Right.
And it seems that you were looking at a marriage between the stormwater management plan and the hazmat plan, and where possible to try and
Right.
remove the duplication of effort, at least get it addressed.
And we
both
want
places.
to address flooding through stormwater. With the last hazard mitigation plan, the one we're currently under, not the current one we're updating, but the one we're currently under, FEMA came in and asked us to recognize that flooding is not just a natural hazard in our county, it is also a man-made hazard, and hence the link with stormwater management. If we can manage our stormwater better, a significant part of our flooding would be reduced. Hence, the best management practices and some of the elements in the model ordinance are going to be flood oriented, and they're also going to be low impact in terms of development, low impact, low maintenance type solutions like rain gardens, individual swales in yards, things like that don't require people to get down in a pipe and clean it out every couple months, to try to keep the things going and be a little more natural with it. So that's the link. Hopefully by addressing our stormwater a little more aggressively, the flooding problem will start going down.
So what we're really trying to do is to try and marry the two to the extent that we don't have a duplication of effort.
Yeah, there's a sense in that water is water.
Yeah.
And just because one's Act 166 and the other is Act 167, and they have 2 entirely different approaches in terms of how the regulation or the law deals with them, it's all the same water. And we need to integrate them and have them work together.
Moving ahead, I guess, any questions on any of that for Dave?
Okay. I do need a technical vote to enter into an agreement with Fort Roberdeau to host our Christmas holiday celebration in December. It costs us nothing, but it's technically a contract, so I need a vote.
Okay, so we just do that now?
Yeah.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the staff actions for a motion to enter into a contract with Fort Roberdeau to host our annual Christmas dinner meeting?
So moved.
Second. All those in favor, second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried. So we're going to Fort
Who
Roberdeau.
moved?
Pat, I think.
Pat.
Or-
No,
The hungry guy.
Hungry guy.
The hungry guy. Update on the GAC. We did present once again as a final, these are the actual numbers. The final take on the redo of the local share. We did get a little pushback once they saw the final numbers. We are getting something prepared that will go out with the billing that shows exactly what we've done for each municipality over the last number of years, how much that has cost the organization, and how much they've paid in relative to that. So that should help balance some of that out. Also, we talked about regionalizing the seats instead of doing them by municipal types, and everybody seemed to be on board with that. That seemed to be widely accepted.
Does that require, that requires we change our bylaws And that requires, then that goes for, after we've done it, the municipalities agree, the commissioners have to.
Commissioners
sign
have to
off-
agree at
have to
this
sign
point,
off on
yeah.
it, Okay.
Yeah. I gotta check our bylaws. I'm not sure we actually mention that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we took that out.
All right.
And then, we do not have it formally yet, maybe I'm a little premature. I did get a phone call from Linda yesterday. I'm expecting a letter of resignation from this board. So, there's a time conflict with this time and with what she's doing. So, I'm expecting within a day or two, we'll be getting a letter from her, resigning her seat. So, just so everybody's aware of that.
Okay. I guess, I don't see Amy, so I guess there's no, item 17 does not exist. I guess the only thing I was still issued about is the recreation thing that's going on. I think that's an issue.
Yeah, we don't have that up there yet. Actually, it is up there, October 24th. Wes and I, we've been doing a inventory and sort of trying to pull a plan together for trails since before we started Walkworks, really. So it's been over 10 years now. We're taking that to that subcommittee on the 24th, see if there's anything else to be added to it, get their input on it. And it's basically an inventory of what trails are out there, what state they're in. And it's not only what trails are actually on the ground, but it's also conceptual things like the trail up the old Wapsie Railroad, just as an example. Conceptual things like that, things that people are actively working on, such as the ATV trails up on the ridge, and then things that actually exist like the Lowry Trail. And we have a huge list of all those things. We'll present it to them. I do know from that list we have a kind of a dearth south of 22 of trails. We have Walkworks routes, and we have the one, technically one of the Southern Alleghenies routes goes down there, but there's only a couple trails down there, and they're all basically on-road trails. So there seems to be a dearth in the southern end of the county of trails, but
Are you collecting new trails or conceptual?
any ideas? Yeah, concepts, what's out there, things people are actually working on, things that are just pie in the sky.
Where do we submit those to?
Give me a phone call. Or an email. And I'll make a bet with you that I'm 80% sure I already have whatever it is you're going to give me.
Okay.
Boy,
And
that
some of this
sounds
stuff
like
is really out there.
That sounds like a real challenge.
We even have a trail from Tyrone up to State College on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got a couple of pet ones I'd like to try.
Okay. Well, maybe then I'll reduce that to 70%.
Okay,
And October 13th and 15th is the Pennsylvania Planning Conference, not the APA Planning Conference.
okay.
The
Now-
APA is in the spring.
Have we resolved the issue? I guess you had called me and said you had some changes about, wanted to send somebody to a conference in Indiana.
Yes. Instead of going to the state planning conference, Mackenzie asked to go to it's kind of a state planning conference, but it's 3 states that go together. It's what is it?
Ohio,
Kentucky,
Kentucky.
Kentucky, Ohio, and Indiana. And because they are presenting on some things that are very germane to what's going on in Hollidaysburg, possibly even Bellwood, Annis, as they get their plan underway. So it seemed very germane. She was interested and already been working with the presenter, so it seemed like a good marriage there.
Okay, so do we need approval for that, or just
No, just let-
to notice who's doing it? I mean, you had one other one, but that
I dropped that one.
you dropped that
Yeah,
one. Okay.
so I called them and they want a ridiculous amount of money for 3 days, and the hotel is even more ridiculous. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I would say if you needed somebody to go to West Palm Beach, I would volunteer. You know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm already
For the hearts. Okay.
And also, October 2nd, the Regional Housing Summit is being put on by request. It's being put on, I believe, by the State Realtors Association. I am a speaker on that on the afternoon session. And the idea is to try to address some of our housing needs, including the missing middle and some of the regulatory hurdles and financial hurdles to getting alternative housing into the region. And we're not talking alternative low income, we're talking alternative market rate housing. It seems like it's single-family detached housing all the time, and it's time to try to figure out how we change some of that, just so we keep some of our young people here that are interested in different types of housing, so, among other ideas.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
And you will notice the comment on October 31st.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure who came up with that one, it was not me.
You're welcome. Mackenzie and I think, are at least, right?
Yeah, if you don't wear a costume, it's $5 at the door.
I
So,
got my $5 right now.
no, come on.
Okay. I guess we're moving ahead. I guess we've talked, I guess now it's the board members, 18 there. Do you have anything? What do you got for us? Anything new? Boy, quiet. Raised. Okay. If there are none. Walt, it's your turn.
Just to clarify something, so if you want to change to appointing members regionally, that does take some kind of official action?
I have to go to the
At some
commissioners,
point?
the commissioners have to change it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see Mackenzie sitting at the table. Would she take Sherry's position, or
No.
just got promoted?
She just came back.
No, there's a seat at the table, so I'm sitting here.
Okay, that's just curious.
Yeah.
That's it.
Regional planner is your title, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she came back.
She's
our-
regional planner now? Okay,
Yeah.
just so I write it.
We're actually, in reality, we're addressing some of our staffing issues this week.
That's fine.
As we go along.
Yeah.
Mackenzie decided she was happier with us.
Well, we're very happy.
Just want to give her the right title.
We'd be lost without her. At least I would.
All right, you've got the agenda, the things there. Is there anything else? Okay, if not, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, we're out of here. Thank you for your patience.